This is Graham from Doteasy coming to you with another video. We're going to be covering our spam and email virus protection feature. This feature is offered at $6.95 a month and it matches the current term as your hosting plan. We're going to be showing you how this feature works and how to modify the settings for it so that if you do choose to activate this feature, you'll know where to go and what to do with it. You can access this along with many of the other features from within your MemberZone account itself. As you can see here, we're already logged into MemberZone for our sample domain. I'm going to be showing you where to go from here. You would start off by scrolling down to the email heading, and here you'll see where it says spam and email virus protection. If you haven't subscribed to this feature, you'll see this option here saying add instead. Because we've already got this enabled, we're going to be going to manage, and this is how you actually open it up and load into this to modify changes. Now you'll see here right away that we've already forwarded some spam into this account so that you can see what it looks like. So you can see there's a whole bunch of spam messages from different locations. You can see there's different options here all over the screen, and we're going to be providing you examples and showing you kind of how this works and what it's showing. So to start with here, you can see where it says viewing stream, and then it gives an example here. In this case, it's showing the domain that we're currently logged into. The stream is basically the account that you're currently looking under. Right now we're looking under this specific account, but you can click on where it says change streams to modify which of the current email accounts you've set up that you're going to be looking at. I'm going to be showing you how to add additional ones into there as well, but this is how you can modify which user you're actually looking for, because it does have individual spam rules for each account that you choose to set up. So for this account here, you can see we've already got a whole bunch of spam, and you can see it shows here the date for it, the subject, the sender information, and then there's also the status itself, and you can choose what to do with the message, whether it's accepting, whitelisting, rejecting, basically whether or not you want to allow this through or just ignore it, get rid of it, never see it again. I'm going to be starting off by going through the preferences, which are the main set of settings for what you're going to be doing within the program. I'm going to start off by going to where it says preferences here. We're going to start off under the quarantine settings, which you can see here. This is the main strength of the filter itself. You'll see where it says spam threshold. This is an actual value, what's called a spam score. Whenever you receive an email or whenever you send an email, it gets scored by email programs and services like Doteasy, Gmail, Hotmail. Everybody will score it differently, but uses a similar system. Points are awarded depending on how the email is laid out. So for instance, if you say have an email with some words in there that you don't want, like all kinds of offensive things or just pharmaceuticals, things like that, anything you'd consider a spam, those words activate a pointage scale and get awarded a certain value. When the value hits a high enough value, in this case you can see a threshold of 5, it then gets flagged as spam automatically by the system. Some things are of course weighted more heavily than others because they're much more likely to be spam. However, if you do have a message with enough of these, even if it's legitimate, there's a chance it can get caught as spam, and that's why you may have seen this before in any of your accounts. So we're going to be showing you how to modify this here. You can see it shows it's out of 1 to 100. The lower the value, the much more strict the scale is, because the lower the score, it's going to be counting as spam. So if you set it to 1, it's going to be catching pretty much anything that's not 100% legitimate. Anything that has any possible case of being spam, even if it's the smallest amount, will be flagged as spam and force you to go in and check it. The higher you set it, the much more likely you are to get spam in there, as well as your regular messages. If you're not sure where to set this, or you think it's fine to start with, we'd suggest to just leave this as 5, because this is a good value to go for. This will catch majority of your spam, if not all of it, and you can always go in and modify it later on. Underneath here, you can go ahead and choose how the spam is done. Right now, what it's set to no here is not tagging any of the spam, which means the message you see is the message you get. 100% exactly the same, not touched. If you go ahead and switch this to yes, what happens is it'll actually tag your subject line with the word spam in front of the existing subject, so that when you're looking through the spam, you can easily see which messages have been flagged as spam and which ones have not when they actually come into your account. So that's what this is here. We'd suggest not to modify the tag subject line. You can definitely go through if you want to, but it is a little more on the coding side of things. So we'd recommend just to leave it with what we've set it here, which will automatically attach the word spam in front of the subject line, and it's best to leave it as that. And then for this here, this is pretty much how you're controlling the main strength of the actual system, which is why we've shown it to you here. We've also gone into the notification section here, and we've done some changes to make this easier for you guys. This controls how the notifications are sent out to you, so that if you go ahead and send anything to yourself, like receive any kind of spam, this will automatically generate a notification and send it to you, so that you can easily see what the spam is and make changes to it. In this case here, you can see we've got this going to marketing@doteasy.com as an example, but this is the email that would receive the notifications from our system saying, hey, you've got some suspicious messages, you may want to log in here and check it. It'll even give you a link so that you can easily log in here, or you can go in through members zone yourself without a problem. Once you've got that set up, you'll see where it says notification type. This you can choose how the notifications are done, whether it's a detailed notification, whether it's a brief, whether it has the HTML with links, or how you want the setup. Basically, it's how much information you want to be putting into the actual notification you're receiving, versus say like a brief notification just says, hey, there's a suspicious message, please come check it, versus a detailed notification will say, this is the message we received, we believe it's suspicious, please make a decision of whether or not to allow it through. You can then go through and change how many notification messages are sent, so basically how many messages you'll receive and be notified about permission. The main other thing here besides the notification of where it's going to and how you set it to is the actual notification time frame. This is how often it's going to actually send you a notification. If you disable all of these options for the days, it won't send you any notifications whatsoever if you don't want it to. But if you do want notifications, say, sent every Friday, you can simply uncheck all the other options here, and then it will only send you a notification on Friday. And you can choose what time of the day. You can say, like, let's say end of the business day, like 6 p.m. for instance. So what will happen here then is you'll only receive a notification at the end of the business week saying, here's all the spam messages, please come check them. You can easily do that here now. You can also go into the submit changes whenever you make any kind of change on the system to go ahead and save them so that they take effect. And this way you can easily adjust how you receive notifications about any caught email here to get this taken care of. The next thing we're going to be showing you here is opt in and out. This is basically how you turn the filter on and off. It will be on by default, and we would recommend not turning it off. But if you find for whatever reason that you need emails to get in and you don't want to be scanned for a while until you have a chance to go through and modify your settings, you can go in here and switch this off if you need to. You can also go through and import and export any rules that you've set up, so that if you ever need to make changes or say you turn it on or off, you can always back up your rules here that you've been creating, your whitelist, your blacklist, all the information here, and save it to your computer and then easily restore it at any point, just so it's easy enough to go through and change. Also, one other thing to show you here while we're under the preferences, under the first heading of preference itself, there is an option here to change the method for choosing the quarantine action. This will basically switch it between the drop down list before when we showed you at the first screen of how you choose whether or not an email is allowed, to also the checkbox feature, which is a little more simpler. And if you're familiar with using our system, it was the previous style of system as well, so you may want to switch it back to that. We're just going to show you what this looks like just because it is easier to use. So if we go back to the home, we'll see now that under the status, there's instead of pending, there's an accept, and there's a close option here. So basically what it is the question mark is basically saying do nothing to it, like it says here from the little tooltip that popped up. Check mark says, yes, this is a good message, please send it to my inbox. And the X says, no, basically this is a bad message, I don't want it, it'll delete it from the system, not a problem. Now that we've gone through and shown you kind of how you can set it up and configure it, the next thing to touch upon is the rules. These are the rules you can set of how messages are allowed to come in or not allowed to come in based on your own choices. We've expanded upon this greatly from our previous section that we set up, mainly with the file name extensions being the major one. You can go through and now disable certain types of attachments. So say, for instance, you don't want an exe to come in, you can say, I don't want an exe, and add the rule here itself. You can say zip files are bad for me now, get rid of all zip files, it'll do that too. You can add any kind of extension you want within the filter system and easily add the rule from here. You can go through and create your own custom rules here, not a problem. So say you want something in the subject line not to come in and you want it to start with, end with, contains, you can put in whatever you want and then also score it. So you have the freedom to set up your own custom rules however you want in the system. So you can make it as complex or simple as you want to go through and do. You can blacklist recipients from here, which means this is the list of recipients, which is an email address that you don't want to receive emails from. You can go through and put in domains from here. Networks. Network would be an actual IP address you'd be basing this on. Say, I don't want this person to ever send for me. You can now do countries, so you can choose to do an entire country itself. You can see them all on the list. So you can say, I don't want any emails from this location because I don't know anybody there, I don't do business with them, and just can get rid of them that way. The bulk entry, you can go through and enter in a whole bunch of items at once. So you can say, like, I want this to have none of these items in here. So say, like, all of these senders, all these recipients. You can go through and set up a group blacklisting, whitelisting, depending on how you want it to set up as well. And this is how you go ahead and modify the rules of how your emails are incoming or outgoing, depending on what kind of emails you want to receive or don't want to receive. The last section here is within the Manage User. This is where you can go through and create additional email addresses to have. By default, there will be just a default global set of rules which will apply to everybody. If you want an individual user to have their own set of email rules, this is where you go in and do it. You can easily add the account from here and then add additional email users that you've set up in your account so that they can log in, they can have their own separate set of rules and manage these yourself. So this way that you can have every individual user, say some people can turn it off, other people can have their own set of custom rules if they get more spam. It allows you all to better accumulate to what you have because no two people really get the same amount of spam. This way it helps prevent your users from running into too many spam coming into their account and not blocking out someone else's account if that one person just needs a stronger setting. So this year you'll be able to go through and modify and change how your spam works better for you. And this way the email protection system is set at a default level, a very strong level to start with, but you can customize it based on the spam you get to go through and allow or block it. And then if you run into any problems, you can of course contact our help support. Now, if you've ever run into any problems and you forget what we've shown you in the video, you can also go up to this knowledge base link at any time, and this will come through and show you a link to the video so that you can rewatch this video, find any information out of it again. And then if you run into anything, you can always contact us. You can contact us through phone, live chat, or email, whatever is more convenient. You can also leave comments under the video. We'll be sure to try and get back to you about those. And then as usual, please make sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, and then get this all taken care of. If you have any questions or anything else comes up, please don't hesitate to let us know.